Hey there everyone, I'm Michael, and I already made this video today, but I kinda screwed it up. And right away you'll notice I fixed the issue. Basically what was happening is OBS took the actual screen, which is in 720p, and it was recording the video at 1440p, and it took the 720p monitor and kinda, well, did this to it. Like, picture the terminal being the screen and the desktop being the actual rest of the video. Um, the screen looked fine, but it only took up a quarter of the actual video's sort of actual thingy. I can't explain this in words. Basically, it stretched out the video and it made all the areas that weren't part of the video all like garbled and weird. But that has been fixed. So, what is new with this version of ShiftOS? Because this is a development update. Well, first things first, the virus scanner has been implemented. There's just no viruses in its database, and I don't have any viruses on my system to be able to scan, but it is implemented. File skimmer, art pad documents, if we can find some. That's another thing right there. The icons for drives are now floppy drives. They'll probably be hard drives whenever they grow to a certain size, but for now they're floppy drives. But now art pad documents, which are .pic documents, there's none in this folder, but they'll share the same icons as any image like these, and PNGs, JPEGs, all the like, will open in ArtPad if you have ArtPad open. You just have to double click on the file in File Skimmer and it'll open in ArtPad. As you can see, it's kind of laggy though, because of how the desktop works now. A bug with the window manager on the desktop. Well, first off, Windows and ShiftOS are no longer their own forms, and a form when it comes to C# and programming and .NET framework. A form is basically a window that is basically the desktop is a form, and Visual Studio is a form. Your web browser, its window is a form. A form is basically anything that shows up in your taskbar or in the Alt tab menu or in the Windows tab menu. Now there's only one form within ShiftOS, and it's the desktop. All the windows in ShiftOS are now drawn to that form. So no longer will you have a bunch of windows drawn to the actual window system within Windows. That's a lot of windows in this sentence about Windows. No longer will you have a bunch of application windows as separate forms. They'll all be on the desktop. This doesn't apply to things like the tutorial application, which is a separate thingy. But in-game applications like Pong, Shifter, they're all drawn to the desktop, which causes a bit of lag if you have lots of images and they're not necessarily double buffered. This is because of how Windows Forms works in general, and I have to go through and make everything double buffered. But most of it is double buffered, so do not worry. Anyways, with the mud cracker, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to put it up here. We'll hit crack. We'll wait 30 seconds, and that will give us a password. We won't be able to use the password because it'll crash the game when we try to authenticate, but we do have a password whenever we click the crack button and wait 30 seconds. And another thing, with Shiftorium upgrade, you can now upgrade the sos.help command to be a bit more descriptive. It'll show you descriptions about each command and how they're used, which is very useful. Before it would just list all commands in the system and you wouldn't know which ones did what. But now it works, and it's awesome. A bug with panel buttons, and as you can see, she's got the password. A bug with panel buttons is they no longer have text on them. This is because I haven't really ported panel buttons over to the new Windows system. So although the panel buttons show up, they don't have text on them yet. That'll be fixed. And another bug, again, with double buffering, applications may be a bit wonky when they're opening, and again, they are really laggy. I can't really fix that right yet, but yeah. Next thing is a huge improvement to skinning in ShiftOS. So let's say we want to have transparency. Before, you actually had to go to System, General, and go to System Color Keyout, and then it would tell you it'd allow you to change the sort of transparency key of all the windows of ShiftOS. Right now it's RGB101. Now we don't use that anymore. This is actually a deprecated feature. It's only there for backwards compatibility with older versions of ShiftOS and older skins. And you'll notice that because this skin is old, it doesn't really use the new transparency system. Therefore, we'll have a bit of issues with title bar corners, and although they look rounded, you'll see that there is some black area here where it's supposed to be transparent. And plus, the new Windows system is kind of wonky right now, so the corner itself is kind of offset by a few pixels, and it's kind of weird. But before you had to do that, and you'd have to set it explicitly within your image. Now, if we set a new desktop background here, we will go up one, and then we'll go shared Windows XP, and we'll set the image to the Windows XP wallpaper. And then this is another bug with how the Windows system works. I will have to fix it. If we set our wallpaper to the Windows XP wallpaper, we've got something we can work with. Now, of course, we don't have transparent title bars or anything like that, because we are using the slate skin. But if we go back to our Windows, and first off we need to erase the title bar or background image, and we can do that by clicking on it and then just hitting apply, and that'll get rid of it. And then if we set the title background color to something with an alpha value other than 255, for example 127, which is halfway transparent, when we click apply, you will see that the title bar is now transparent with the desktop, and the desktop background will bleed through. The only problem is it won't really bleed through, or it won't really let other things bleed through. So like the desktop panel and stuff, which is kind of a problem, but we'll be working on it. Anyways, sorry, there's lots of background noise distracting me. So yeah, we have transparency. However, it's quite laggy because of how the windows are drawn to the desktop, so it's very experimental. So we'll get rid of it in the skin loader, load default skin, and there. But yeah, things are a lot less laggy when you don't use images. They're nice and smooth, especially when recording. It's just the way things are drawn. So yeah, and I think that's about it. Now, I don't know if I showed this off, but I no longer need my magnifier for doing these ShiftOS videos because all the windows are now optimized for 1080p, and although I'm in 720p, it's still quite playable, considering I'm not really going to be having more than two or three windows open at a time when I'm doing things personally. But it is more optimized, and I figured I'd share that because not everyone will have 1440p displays. Some of you guys may be stuck in 1080p or even 720p, and I know ShiftOS isn't really playable in 720p because I'd have to shrink the windows way smaller than they ought to be. Yeah, that's something new. So yeah, I'm not really sure what else to show because I don't really have anything else. Besides the name changer being a thing now, it's not in our app launcher because it's not fully implemented, but the name changer will be there, and yeah. Anyways, I have been Michael. This is my better version of today's video, where the text isn't totally blurry and everything's not garbled. I will see you guys in the next video.